There's a scene early in the movie The Matrix, a decision scene, where Morpheus holds out two different coloured pills to Neo, one blue and one red. Take the blue pill and all goes back to normal, the way things were. Take the red pill and find the truth and see how far the rabbit hole goes, and offer for his life to go to another level. I want to ask you today, do you want life to go to another level, to really live? Now, as we go down this rabbit hole, you might find this is a somewhat difficult pill to swallow. One day, a lawyer comes to Jesus to test him, to trap him, to see if he's all that. He's heard about Jesus and probably pretty skeptical. My guess is he thought he could better Jesus, this carpenter from a small village, and that he would fall under the lawyer's scrutiny. So he asks him, "What must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus responds with a question of his own. "Well, what does the law say? You're the expert." The lawyer responds with two commands from the ancient Jewish law. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus commends him. You've answered correctly. Now here's the red pill. Jesus says this: do this, love God with everything, and love your neighbor, and you will live. Do this, and you will live. Now, lawyers love loopholes. Part of their job is to find and or cover up loopholes. Just see clause 265.c to see what I mean. The lawyer, looking for a loophole, wanting to see how far the rabbit hole goes, asks this: who is my neighbor? Who does this love I'm supposed to give my neighbor cover? Is it my next door neighbor? Is it those in my street or my community? Is it my fellow countrymen? Who comes under this umbrella of neighbor? Because surely there are people that it's not okay to love, right? Bad people, smelly people, people that don't think like me. Surely there's no need to love them. So Jesus answers with a story. A man was traveling along the road when he was attacked by robbers, who, once they had beat him and taken his stuff, left him by the side of the road half dead. Then a priest comes down the road. He walks by on the other side, trying to avoid him. Then a temple helper comes down the road too. He also walks by on the other side of the road. Then comes a Samaritan. Now for us, many of us know the story, or at least have a positive reaction to the Samaritan name, because they've become known as the good guys. But the Jewish listeners, they would have been horrified. The Samaritans were the enemy. They were disgusted by them, these half-blooded muggles. They hated and loathed them and would do anything to avoid those people. But this Samaritan, Mr. Unexpected, becomes the hero of the story. He is filled with compassion and pity for the one attacked, and goes to great lengths to help and to serve this afflicted person. What a story. Then Jesus challenges the lawyer to go and do likewise. Take the red pill. I mean, this love idea sounded good until Jesus went and told that story. I mean, love sounds so nice and sweet until we have to swallow the whole weight of it. It's costly. It's uncomfortable. It takes sacrifice. But it's also life-changing, amazing, and transformative. But could it be that your enemies could be the key to you coming fully alive? We all have enemies in some shape or form. At least someone we dislike or struggle to care for. Our minds set up good guys and bad guys, and socially we're pressured to think in us and them. And especially when things get tough, we want to look for someone to blame or to make the enemy in a situation. In this time of the coronavirus, we want someone to blame, and people can take it out in such hatred. Some have labeled this virus the China virus, which has led people, even in our nation, to abuse and attack people who have Asian features. How sad, how awful. or people of abused hospital staff, or supermarket workers, or police who are just trying to do their job for the better of our country. But we all do the same thing to varying degrees. We blame the guy who cut us off in traffic. We joke about people different from us. And we take out our frustrations on our spouse or our kids. Who is it that rubs you up the wrong way and gets your blood boiling? Jesus challenges us that it is these, all the way to the easy to love, that are the neighbors we should love. And it is this love that is the pill to find life. Yet when people rise up into this love, it's life-changing, amazing, and transformative. When Christians have followed Jesus' teaching in this, it has transformed lives, communities, and countries. Even stories now I've heard of people buying groceries for elderly stuck at home, people cooking meals for those doing it tough and those they don't even know, even people creating community in their street by developing a WhatsApp group. I want to say though that loving your enemies is not easy. Some prejudices we have are highly ingrained in us, and people could have done horrible things to you. And I don't want to minimize that, but I want to encourage you to be wise in that. So how do we learn to love like this? How do we really find this life? Well, I want to give you just 3 things to help on this path. Firstly, ask God to take hold of your heart. It is an act of loving God to open your heart to Him, to change you, to pray, break my heart for what breaks yours. And that's where power comes. Number 2, work to see things from others' perspective. Try and put yourself in someone else's shoes to understand them. It can be so hard to do, but it is the best way to find greater love in life. And thirdly, open yourself up to love. We all naturally set up defense mechanisms to not get hurt, but it is by opening ourselves up that leads us to the best in life. Our community and our world need people who will take on this life-changing and transformative love. This is what living God's kingdom is all about. It's about seeing more and more of Mr. and Mrs. Unexpected. So, will you take the blue pill or the red pill? Will you leave this message and just go back to normal? Or will you take the red pill and choose to love, no matter how hard it is to swallow, and truly find life? I encourage you to find Luke chapter 10 in a Bible, or just Google it and do a soap. In the description below is a video on how to soap, if you don't already know. And I encourage you to let Jesus speak to you in that. Share it with someone else and truly find life.